Hello, students, and welcome back. So, last class, I've been sharing some codes in your videos with you all in the description box for you all to practice. And last class, I even showed you all example of which kind, how do you expect a Python full-fledged program to look. Today, we will start with variables and assignments. Basically, a variable is like a container that stores values that you can access or change. Variable, just like the name suggests, it has been derived from the word vary. Vary meaning it will change during the execution of the program. So the value of a variable will keep changing during the program execution as and when you need. It doesn't need to necessarily change, but it is open to this. You are allowed, it gives you the feature or accessibility to change the value, like a constant wouldn't. Okay, so in Python, every element is normally called an object. Hence, a variable is also an object in Python. So easier way to remember is named labels are called variables. So when I say marks equals to 86, over here the word mark is a variable, 86 is the value. Now, if this was how variables are saved in the memory, we are going to come to this in a bit. Let me just complete what I have to finish here. So through a variable, we store some value in the memory of a computer. So variable is a named unit of storage and a program manipulates the value. Each variable has a type. This type defines the format and the behavior of the variable. So if over here we say marks equals to 86, it will automatically assign the value 86 to marks, and variable named marks will become an integer type variable. So if you type x equals to 10, okay, and then you're just going to type x in the interpreter mode, you have seen automatically that the computer will tell you 10 because it will associate those two together. Okay, so now in Python, how is the value saved in the memory is very interesting. If you see on this screen, the numbers 2000, 2016, 2018, these are all memory locations. These are all memory addresses which are there in the system. These are just simple numbers given for our reference. Of course, the numbers differ and they are normally hexadecimal values, but whatever they are, let's assume. And then right above it, if you see the number 78, 79, 80. So in Python, numbers already have an address attached to it. In C++, it was different. So in C++, if we said marks equals to 86, a brand new memory address was created where the number 86 was put, and marks used to point to this address. Okay, but in Python, memory works differently. In Python, these numbers, they already have a memory address attached to it. So when you say marks equals to 86, marks is going to point to the number, it's going to refer to the location 2054, which holds the value 86 in it no matter what. So tomorrow, if I say B equals to 86, B will also point to the location 2054. And if after a few years you will say ABC or age equals to 86, again age will point to the same memory location where the number 86 is stored. Okay, but in C++, each and every variable that was created had a different memory location, had a different memory address. So over here you will see, I will show it to you all how a few I will show you all how a few variables will show you the same memory address. Let's see that now. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to use 86 itself. So I'm going to say marks equals to 86. Okay, and whenever I will type marks, remember capital M, otherwise it is going to give me an error. Mark, it is going to tell me 86. That means the word mark is pointing to the memory in the computer system of Python where the number 86 is already stored. Okay, how do I check that? We have an inbuilt function called ID. When I pressed ID, you can see it's in purple color. And in the brackets, I have to type the name of my variable and press enter. And this is the memory address of 86. How do I show you all and prove to you all that this is correct? Let's see this now. If I say age equals to 86, and let's see the ID address of age. Is it the same? And let's change the value of marks now. Let's mark become 87. And let's see the memory address of marks again. Has it changed? That means, like I was showing you earlier, that every number is already saved in the memory. Okay, so now the identity of the variable object. Okay, so this ID function refers to the object's address in the memory, which does not change once it has been created. I repeat, it will not change once it has been created, in the sense the memory address will remain the same. Only if you change the value of the variable, the memory address changes. Okay, so the address of an object can be checked using the method or function ID. All right, now, so if I change the value to 81, you can see the memory location has changed. So variables in Python, they do not have fixed locations like other programming languages. Other programming languages have fixed function. Okay, now one more thing I have to teach you all. A variable has three definite parts. Okay, it has three main components. Number one is the identity. Identity of the variable is the name of that variable. Every variable will need an identity. Number two will be the type. So which type of variable it is? Is it an integer type? Is it a string type? Is it a value type? What type of variable is it? And number three is the value of the variable. Every variable will have a value. So every object or every variable has these three components: identity, type, and value. How do you know the identity? We use the ID function. You all saw me using the ID function right now, na? Over here will come name of variable. Okay. And type, again, you will say type. In type also, we have a ready-made method ready given to us. You just have to say type and then name of variable again. And value you will of course know as soon as you press that variable. So let's see, we have two variables ready over here for us. So we'll see all these three components of the variables in these two variables, that is mark and age. So starting with marks, identity. Identity of marks is already on the screen. I have written ID mark. Now let's go for type. When I say type marks, we'll say class int. Int over here stands for integer. It is an integer type of a variable. And the last one was value. For value, you just have to type the variable name. Then you get the type. Then you get the value. So when I wrote marks, I got the value 87. Clear? So now over here, the next one is age. So if I want to know the ID of age, I will say ID, open bracket, close bracket, age. Yes, and just okay. And if I want, okay, and if I want to see the type of it, I will say type age. Okay. And if I want to see the value of it, I will just write the name of the variable, that is age. So this is how the three values are shown. Okay. ID, type, and value. Is this clear? Okay. So now we have seen identity and also how to find the type. But I also want to show you all exactly how many types of variables are there in Python. So let's say it's data type. Okay, let's say how many types of data types are there in Python. So in data types, there are 5 data types in all. Okay, next one. First one is numbers. The second one is none. The literals, remember we did the 5 literals. Those are the 5 data types. Then there was sequences or collection. Okay. Then there is set. And then there is mapping. These are the 5 data types of Python. Okay. In this, number is further divided into integer, float. You all already know about integer and float. You all don't know about complex. I will show you all an example on complex in a little while. Okay. So number, float, and complex. These are the 3 numbers data type. And integer is further divided more further into Boolean. Remember Boolean? Only true or false can come in that, correct? Integer is further divided to Boolean. None itself is a data type. There is no further division of it. And sequence is again divided into 3 parts. That is string. String is a sequence of alphanumerical type. String, then you have tuple that you will learn a little later, and you also have list. Again, you will learn this a little later. Okay, these are all types of sequences. There is string, there is tuple, and there is list. And finally, under mapping, we have dictionary. Again, we are going to learn dictionary this year. Okay. So these are the broad data types of Python. So any value in a variable will be one of these. It will be either, if it's a number, it will either be integer, float, or complex, or it'll be Boolean. If it's a data type, if it's a sequence, it will be either a string, list, or tuple. If it's a mapping, it's going to be a dictionary. Okay. Now with this, I will just give you all an example of most of these, and we will end our class over there. Uh, I really wish you have the practical book of Sumitra Arora in computer science. If you all do have it with you all, I'd like you all to do pages. Please write them down. 3, then you will do page number 4, 5, and then uh, from 8 onwards, all these, whatever I'm teaching you, there's a practical assignment given for you all. So I would really, really want you all to have that book. So if you all don't have it, please call for it. It is Sumitra Arora's Progress in Computer Science with Python. It's a practical book. And let me know once you all have called for it, because I can start giving you all work. Okay, so we'll see the examples now. Over here, I had shown you all ID, type, and value, the 3 components of any variable. Now I'm going to show you all a file type. Okay. Okay, so in file type over here, I'm going to show you all examples of every data type. Okay, starting with numbers. The first one is integer. So an integer number would be something like a equals to 1. 1 is an integer numbers. Okay, we can also do something like -6. This is also understood by Python. When I will type a, it will tell me -6. Okay. Yeah. So we had the first one, a equals to -6, and this was integer. When I type a, I get -6, and if I check the type, I will get integer. Yes. Now moving further, the second one I had shown you all was float. So float is basically a real number which has a fractional part to it. I'm using the same variable over here. I'm not using another variable. Don't get confused. You can use many variables. Okay, I will use many variables. I don't want you to get confused. So let's say b equals to 2.9. And if I now check the value or the type of, it will tell me class float. That means it is the data type float. Now I'm going to show you all complex numbers. Complex numbers are made up of pair of real number and imaginary number. Okay, so they have 2 parts to it, real number and imaginary number. So let's say I say x equals to 2 plus 5j. Okay, over here 5j. 5j is the imaginary number, 2 is the real number. All right. So when I say x equals to 2 plus 5j and then I check the type, I'm going to get complex. That means it is data type complex. Okay. One more thing in this is I can also, when I do this, I can also type only the imaginary part or only the real part. I can ask Python to only give me that much. For that, I have to say x dot real. Say enter and I get 2. And if I say x dot imaginary IMAG, I get 5.0. Yes. So if I want to print only one part or I want to deal with just one part, I can do that using these functions, real and image. But don't worry, we are not going to be dealing with a lot of complex numbers. not right now. This is just for information that Python will also take imaginary numbers if there is a complex number system in it. Okay, next I can say y equals to true. Now if I check the value of y, I will say type of y. Can you tell me what will come? It will come string, because true over here became string. If I want to use Boolean, I have to use the word true without any colons. Y equals to true, capital 3 and no colons, and then let's see the type of the value y. It's coming bool. Yes, if I want false, capital F, A-L-C-E, false, and then I will get the type bool. So we have all seen example of integer, floating point, complex, boolean, string. Okay, anything in quotes will become string. Now for tuple, list, I'm not going to show you all right now because you all will get more confused. Tuple, list, dictionary, sets, we will not do right now. We will learn when we learn the chapter. There's an entire chapter dedicated to these and you will learn that time. These were the only you have to learn. Okay, integer, float, complex, string and boolean. All right. So with this, I'm going to end today's class. Stay home, stay safe, practice these, learn these. These are very important. Learn the basics very, very well so that when we start doing programs, you all are not confused. Please feel free to contact me. I will reply back at my time, but I will reply back. Again, I will have, I think this time I'm not going to be able to attach any programs below. I will try my best. But in case I can't, I want you all to at least practice what we have studied. Okay? Stay home, stay safe, take care, and keep learning.